Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Voice of College Football USC channel. We are here live after USC wins the Holiday Bowl 42-28 in their first ever matchup with Louisville. As always, I'm Tony Altimore here with Tim Prangley and Rick Anaya. Rick, LBC, you are live at the Holiday Bowl at Petco Park right now. Tell us, what was it like for that big win?
It was amazing, Tony and Tim. Like I was telling my family and friends, it's Miller time. Keep my glass filled, because Miller Moss had a coming out party, 6 touchdowns tonight in his first career start. It was electric, on fire. I am so happy for the young man because, as you saw at the end of the game, Caleb Williams giving him props, a lot of players giving him props. He gave a curtain call, arms up in the air. That performance was unbelievable. He rocked it. So happy for him. And, I mean, just so many great stories all night we'll talk about. But he was getting the old and the new with Taj Washington, Makai Lemon, Deuce Robinson coming back, Jacoby Lane. Just incredible. A lot of things to look forward to next year, guys. What were your thoughts?
Tim, what did you think?
This game was all about the offensive line, I thought. Miller Moss was, like I said, exceptional. 23 of 33, 372, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 70%. If you had told me that stat line before the game, I would have said the only way that happens is if, your true freshman Elijah Page gets in there and really does a job. That line, they shuffled it around. They moved Kingston around. It was great moving him to tackle. That line, I said leading up to the whole week, it's going to be a battle of their pass rush against our pass protection. And the O-line held up. Miller Moss did. And also, all night, I felt like I was tweeting out about Taj Washington. Chef Taj, all year long, you guys, all year long, whenever USC got in trouble, it was 16 that bailed them out. And tonight, it was more of the same. They needed a touchdown or 2 really important third down conversions. Just an amazing game. Hats off to Taj and Miller, of course, as well as just the entire offensive line.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, this was the game we knew Miller Moss was capable as a leader. We knew he had the talent. We just wanted to be able to see him do it. We put it together tonight, broke all kinds of Holiday Bowl records, broke first-time quarterback records, just absolutely did everything we wanted. And, Tim, I think you hit it on nail on the head right there. The offensive line played like we needed them to play. So it was fantastic. Now, Rick, you were in the stadium. What was it like in the stadium at the game? It's a baseball field, but it looked like a fun game. What was it like to be there at the Holiday Bowl where you are right now?
So, guys, Joel Klatt is interviewing Jalen Smith right now in the defense, and they're going to the offensive most valuable player, Miller Moss.
Miller Moss, most valuable player.
Listen to the crowd, guys. Listen to the crowd. There it is. Give him his props. Here we go.
23 of 33 for 372.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Watching Miller get the trophy.
Guys, is it safe to say now we know why Malachi Nelson transferred or is in the transfer portal? Because he couldn't hang with Miller time. That's why. Because if you're Miller Moss and you believe in yourself and you're a 5-star quarterback, you play a half in this game. He left because he knew. Those are my words, just telling to you straight. Look it. Everybody in this team knew Miller Moss had this in his bag. So happy for him that he did it.
Me too. He's a great guy, an amazing guy. Graduated undergrad in 2.5 years with a 3.9 GPA. Team leader, community leader on the campus. You really can't ask for much more than that. So that was pretty impressive and pretty awesome. Now, what did you guys think of the defense tonight? That was another area. I was worried. They had moments where they looked like our defense all year, and they had moments where they looked fantastic.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the first half, the tackling was outstanding. They had quick hands on both. You had think Max Williams had one, and then Beavers at the end to seal it with just strip. Great. The defense played inspired. They seemed like they weren't confused. Obviously, things have been toned down for everybody. You got a lot of young guys. That secondary was thin and young, and they stepped up. Really happy to see the way that, especially along the line, it was kind of, you can tell we're undersized still. That's where it needs to be sorted out. Just gashings in the middle. Their running back, I'm blanking on his name, huge, big guy. But he was just rushing and gashing them for 7 to 15 yards early. They kind of got a bottle on that. And, tomorrow Trojans, if anyone starts talking about how Jake Plummer hurt his pinky, that's what USC was dealing with Caleb Williams the entire season. So, great game, great season by the Braun brothers and Plummer. It sucks that he got hurt, but I don't want to hear that excuse because, again, we had our quarterback playing with a busted up pinky the entire year.
I think the defense played great.
Well, and we didn't even have our number one quarterback.
Yeah.
I thought the defense played great. They were protecting the boundary. Prophet Brown played outstanding. Jacoby Covington, Jalen Smith, they did what they had to do. And there's 3 keys to the USC winning this game. I had 3 keys. Keep Miller Moss upright, which they did. Win the turnover battle, which they did. And feed Zachariah Branch, which, you know what? Zachariah Branch didn't have to be the difference maker because so many other guys stepped up on the offensive side of the ball. But time after time, USC had the stops on defense. Tim, Tony, you didn't see the run fits. You didn't see the big plays for 20-plus yards that were happening all year long. They played inspired, and they were shutting down Louisville. And that was part of the reason. And you look at the time of possession, they probably had 10, 12 more minutes of time of possession. They were running the ball. I think they had over 2 yards rushing, but USC had the key stops when they needed to.
A big part of that was that Jalen Smith really did step up in this game. He led all tacklers with 12 tackles, but Mason Cobb as well. Mason Cobb had a couple of key tackles in that game. The tackling, like I said at the beginning, inspired. They must know that Lynn is looking and watching them. And so this was, let's face it, this was an audition for everyone going into the spring. You need to ball out and show you are. And Jalen Smith, Mason Cobb, really got up there. It's going to be amazing to see Jalen Smith next year take on a more of a leadership role. It's gonna be weird to think that he's going to be the elder statesman of that secondary coming up next year. So what a great way to start. That's what Riley said. Riley said, this is not the last game of the 23 season. This is the first game. And they're looking at, this is the first game of the 24 season. And these guys said, look, we want to etch our names in on that depth chart coming into spring. This was a great way to springboard that. Great game. Yeah, Jalen Smith is probably the player of the game on defense for sure.
Guys, they just had the trophy ceremony, and there was something new, a new wrinkle tonight with the Holiday Bowl. They have the Duke's Mayo Bowl with the mayo. They have the Potato Bowl with the French fries. They just dumped eggnog on Lincoln Riley. The Holiday Bowl came up with a new wrinkle, and they had the Holiday Egg Bowl and eggnog, and they dumped it on Lincoln Riley. They just showed it here on the big screen. I'm sure he didn't care because, the way USC played tonight, it was fantastic. And pour eggnog all night long. It was great.
Pour the eggnog. Cheers to Lincoln Riley.
Yep. I'll tell you what, Lincoln Riley called a great game. He was taking shots downfield. Makai Lemon at the beginning of the game had a 40-yard pass play, a 35-yard pass play. It was well known that Louisville was very stingy on defense in terms of the red zone defense. Very difficult. And so USC was taking shots 50 and 40 yards out. That last play, I loved it. The touchdown to Deuce Robinson. He dropped a crucial pass earlier, but they went over the top. It seemed like a 50-yard pass. Maybe you guys got the official stats, but that was a money play. What did you guys think of that touchdown to Deuce?
Oh, I thought it was great. And I also, and this kind of relates actually, LBC, to what you're just saying. We just got a super chat from Lemansky. Thank you, Lemansky, for that. Lemansky says, football is hard. Coach Braun is gifted. This win is very meaningful. Don't tell those Miller Time kids that bowl games lost meaning. And I think that goes just with what you said, LBC. This game had meaning to those guys. We saw Deuce Robinson do things. We saw Taj turn into a superhero. Miller looked great. The team looked great. I think that all of this sets them on the path we need for 24.
Nobody gave USC a chance to win this game. None of the national pundits. I released a video this morning on my channel. I predicted that Louisville would win by 12 to 14 points. I didn't give USC a chance. Hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut out right now. They have a fireworks show here at the Holiday Bowl. Lights have gone out. I'm going to get out of the stadium, and I'll rejoin you in about 5 minutes.
We'll see you then, LBC. Fight on.
Guys. See ya.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, the official numbers on that pass, Rick left too quick, but I don't know if you hear me still, but the official number, that was a 44-yard, it was basically a 50-yard touchdown pass to, he was talking about how early in the game he had that drop, but don't worry, I mean, Robinson's going to have plenty of times to make up for that drop. That was a crucial drop, but, they had the faith to go back to him and go long, and the separation he had, that safety had no chance to stay up with Deuce. That was amazing. He talked about Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon from Los Alamitos had a great game himself. He had, matter of fact, the first early touchdowns were set up by 2 long receptions by Mekhi Lemon. He averaged 37.5 yards and a long of 40, just 2 catches. But it was those 2 catches, very crucial catches. And then on that third down play, the one I really liked, the touchdown play was amazing, how Jacoby Lane had that separation in the corner.
Oh, that was beautiful.
The third down play showing off his catch radius when he had to go all the way back for that ball on his back and make that catch. I've been just raving about everyone knows about Branch, everyone knows about Robinson, and Jacoby Lane's be the next guy to step up. When he reaches back for that ball, I mean, you should see them all the time. He guys have massive mitts and catch radius. It's going to be a really difficult thing for anybody to cover this guy one-on-one, especially along the goal line. And we're going to see more and more of that third downs and goal line. You're going to see, get ready for next year. Jacoby Lane's going to be that guy.
And I think we got a great comment here. Great super chat. Thank you, Runaway Prophet. He says, not going to way too early call Miller the guy, but man, knowing when to get rid of the ball, calmness in the pocket, that stuff wins games, man. And it just won a game tonight over a team that, remember, was playing in the ACC championship against Florida State, a team that gave Florida State a run for its money.
The thing, yeah, it was true. Early in the game, I was worried about will they be able to protect him? And clearly, the offensive line were able to protect, because that pass rush is legit. That pass rush was all over. If you think back, we didn't fare too well against Notre Dame, but this is the same team that really, took Notre Dame out and then turned around next week and dropped the ball going up to Pitt. I don't think Louisville's quite the same team on the road as they are at home. Someone said that earlier today, and they were spot on. But USC's defense was harassing Plummer all day, and part of that is the pass rush. So I'm really happy with the way the defense stepped up. The tackling was stout and good in the beginning. Clearly we still see that there's personnel issues in the middle. We do as we go into the Big Ten. This, like Benny Wiley said, this is not the medium 10. This is the Big Ten. Getting a guy out there that's big, in that middle to be a run stopper, just to sit there and make sure that they're not able to gash right the middle like they did in this game is going to be crucial. And if you notice that they had, they had larger guys there, but you saw Stevie T work his butt off, but he had difficulty establishing that middle. But I mean, I liked it overall. I did like the way the defense played as a whole, as a unit.
All right. Hey, we've got our first callers calling in right now. Let's bring them on in. We've got Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. Jeffrey, welcome to the show. What did you think of USC's big win tonight in the Holiday Bowl?
I appreciate you for having me on. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, and
You
guys got a great late Christmas present with this win with USC. I haven't been on in a while, busy with Christmas and stuff, been a little under the weather too, but back on, wanted to call in on your show and just, you just talk about how USC, I mean, this is, I guess you would say, just goes to show you that with the age of the opt-outs and the transfer portal, sometimes you can find, things that you weren't really expecting when you watch a game like this. Because I picked Louisville to win. I know a lot of people did, because I was just looking at all the opt-outs. I didn't know how Miller Moss was going to play. Like, I had no idea that Miller Moss is going to be able to go out there and throw for 6 touchdowns like that. But yes, eggnog, not good to be poured on. Good when you drink it. But
well, and yeah, I'll tell you, no, honestly, and we were here, we just gone live, so I missed seeing Lincoln Riley get poured on the eggnog. Tell me, guys, did he look as uncomfortable as I would have imagined? Because like Pete Carroll would have jumped in the eggnog like a hot tub. I just picture Lincoln Riley being like, "Okay, do it."
Yeah, Pete Carroll's awesome.
You guys
he's still lighting it up and jumping around in the NFL at the age of 70, 71, whatever. He's awesome. But yeah, I mean, Miller Moss, though, is just so impressive. I mean, I was not expecting that guy to go out there and do that. I still don't know. I did say in chat earlier that Louisville's defense was terrible. I believe it was. And I think part of it was because they probably weren't expecting that. And plus, we know they played a very poor schedule for the most part in the ACC. And a lot of teams that they play were not great on offense. But they just got exposed on defense in this game. I mean, that one pass, I think it was to Robinson, the wide open one. I mean, that was just terrible defense. The coverage was bad. And I mean, that's nothing against Miller Moss because he played really well. But I think Louisville's defense was a big reason why this game went the way that it did. And the fact that USC showed up to play, Miller Moss showed up to play. They had a good game plan. And I'm with you guys. You said it, Tim. USC does need a guy in the middle because that run defense is not good. I mean, that was the only thing Louisville had going for them all game was running the football. Like running back at like 200 yards, or the whole team at over 200 yards. The running back had like 3 touchdowns, but they needed a good guy in the middle, linebacker. But USC, I mean, this was good that they showed up to play. Tough way to end the season for Louisville, but I think the biggest L is Will Howard. I know people keep saying it, but Will Howard, I mean, what are you going to do, Lincoln Riley? Are you going to take Will Howard or are you going to go with Miller Moss? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, my question is, does Will Howard want to come anymore? Because now there's some real competition. You know, there's some comments earlier in the chat. They don't realize they're calling Miller Moss a third stringer and things like that. I'm guys explaining to you. Listen, Miller Moss, number one, is a true Trojan. The guy said, I don't care who comes in here. I'm staying. Like he flat out said that. Bring him on. Not to disparage, but there was another quarterback here that popped into the transfer portal as soon as Will Howard just visited. You know what I mean? And I'm out. Miller Moss came out and said, no, man, because he's a special relationship with USC. He's loved USC his whole life. Got jerseys of him. If you notice in the on the broadcast, Matt Leinart talked about the fact that he came, to his quarterback camps when he was younger. Miller loves USC. He's just one of those guys that this is my school. Just so good. No matter what, I don't care if Caleb comes back next year and he's a starter. Nobody could ever take this game away from Miller Moss. And I'll tell you what, the way Miller Moss played, 6 touchdowns. Are you kidding? 6 tutties? That easy? Are you kidding me? It's gonna be kind of hard to say, hey, maybe you don't belong, as a starter of this team. So yeah, he stepped up. Right? I can't stand Gus Johnson sometimes, but sometimes, he just said this. He took his chance. He had an opportunity and he took it. I'm not going to hold you the whole Eminem thing like he did, but he did. He had this chance. He had that was pretty rough to watch.
Okay, can I just say that I like Gus Johnson a lot more when we're winning?
Yeah, good point.
I found that tonight. The Gus Johnson shtick did not go as well to me when we were losing some of those games this season. Mm-hmm. But when we're winning, it's like, oh, okay, that's corny but cute. I didn't have to throw tomatoes at the TV.
Miller has one more
year.
He is
a lot more fun when your team's winning for sure because his enthusiasm's great. I think something that's funny to me, though, is how I'm seeing a lot of people in chat and other areas, Twitter, saying USC was being held back by Caleb Williams. No, it was not Caleb Williams. Alex Grinch is a better answer than Caleb Williams by a mile.
So there's so much to unpack there, right? There's the defense, the Alex Grinch. There's also, let's be honest, Louisville. That was not Washington or Oregon out there. Mm-mm. So, we did very well in the season when we played more teams like Louisville. Mm-hmm. But that was not a Washington or an Oregon.
It was nice to see, though, that you're talking about. This was a team that was number 1 in red zone defense. I mean, that's no small feat. And I think we saw why. I think they're kind of like the USC version of USC, the past USC. That gives up the explosive plays because it just seemed like the reason why their red zone defense is so good is nobody ever gets into that red zone because they're always throwing 40 yards over the top of their safety. So that could be a big part of it. But again, I'm just so proud of this team. I'll admit, I said, this is what I said. I said, I don't really feel good about this game, but I said, but if the offensive line protects Miller, I kept saying it, then we've absolutely got a chance to win this game. It's kind of wishy-washy, but I'll admit, I didn't think we could. I thought that the pass rush was going to get to Miller and get the Miller offense. So hats off to the offensive line, just balled out. True freshman Elijah Page. We just saw. I've been gushing about this guy all year. True freshman. This guy is going to be amazing next year. Matter of fact, we have a lot of guys that'll be redshirt freshmen next year that are just going to be absolutely insane. When people see them, I mean, they're all huge. We're talking about the Big Ten. These are all huge dudes. These are all huge individuals that are going to love to run block. And in the Big Ten, that's what we're doing. We do a lot of run blocking. But I'm glad to see Alani Noah got some play earlier, and then now you have Page stepping in there and doing a great job. I cannot wait to see what this offense does.
Yeah,
and I'll say we lost some players that I think were very promising on defense. A couple that kind of made me sad to see because I thought they had the talent. I thought they needed better coaching, better scheme, and all those things that we think the new defensive staff are going to bring to us. And I was sad to see them go, but at the same time, the defensive guys that were there stepped up tonight and got it done.
Yeah, both guys kind of left because their position coaches were kind of shown the door, and so I do think the connection between the corner we lost and Tackett and Domani. The reason why they left partially is because that connection they had with their position coaches, and in recruiting, that's a big part of this. And I think
at the same time, those position coaches at USC in the roles they were in were terrible. Their results
agreed.
on the field were atrocious. So I look at them saying, when people say that, I look at that and I say, okay, guys, have some judgment. Those position coaches were coaching you poorly.
It's what Matt
Bennett, they may be good coaches, but they were coaching these guys in this defense poorly. And we've just brought in some very serious, extremely talented, successful coaches. I think the guys who stay are going to be more successul.
Well, and they will. I think Entz at linebacker
those
coach
coaches again, in that situation.
Yeah, Entz coming in and play as a linebacker coach is going to be something really special for the. I guarantee you that there's going to be a new level of toughness, and you're talking about it, Jeffrey. That toughness, especially up the middle, you're going to see a difference. Those Entz defenses at North Dakota State were something. Not just his. Just they had a culture up there for just going back on their championship seasons, of well over a decade of just being stout and tough, especially against the run. So that's what I'm excited to see.
Well, and Tim, you guys have talked about this. One of the things that I think is really cool is his role. He's not the defensive coordinator, but he is with the assistant or associate head coach, which I think is going to be really exciting. Like that's the kind of attitude we need. Hey, real quick, we got a super chat from Runaway Prophet. Got to appreciate the first silverware since about 2017, but we do need to talk about the run game, though. The last couple of games haven't been good. Massive work to be done on run defense, too. Yeah, run defense, run offense. I agree with you, Runaway Prophet. Mm-hmm. Both need work, but I think they're going to get work. And we got what we needed out of this win, and we'll take it.
Yeah, they just ran the ball just enough to keep them semi disciplined, I guess, so they come pin their earbacks and come after Miller. But if you saw that last play, the game was getting out of reach, but it was a tough run on that GT pole. Did you guys see that at the very end of the game where they're on the 10-yard, and then you had Austin Joe just run down the field? It was executed perfectly. It pulled the guard, tackle came inside, sealed it off, and just boom, he was gone. So I think that it's there. Again, when we see those big hogs come in next year, when we see those big boys come in, I think we're going to see a lot more from that run game. And I did think Joel Klatt did a good job when he brought up the fact that he said that when the Leach tree met up with the Bob Stoops run the ball tree, it created it melded these two things together. Where if you look at Lincoln, it drives me crazy when people say that he's just this spread, just going to throw the ball out. It's going to be all over the field. It's not. He runs the ball very well, and when he was at Oklahoma, he did run the ball very well. I think we're going to see more and more of that as we get into Big Ten play.
And Blackie Chan Gaming, friend of the show, says, "Get that NIL money ready for Miller Moss."
Guys, make sure you guys checking them out. Light the torch. Those guys are awesome over there. Don't leave now, but later on, go watch some of their stuff.
Later on, afterwards. Hey, while we got Jeffrey on, you know what? We got another friend of the show waiting in the wings. Let's just bring on Will ND to join us as well. Partners with Jeffrey on their channel. Will, what did you think of the SC game tonight?
I'm happy for Miller Moss, man. It reminded me of Tyler Buckner last year. Miller played much better than Tyler, but just like these guys, like I mean, I don't know if Tyler grew up an Irish fan, but like ended up just winning the team game for his team. It's like so nice to see those guys do it, and hopefully Steve Angeli can do it on Friday as well against the Beavs. But yeah, I'm just so happy for those guys. Like grew up rooting for their teams and be able to get it done. Like it's a dream that sadly I won't be able to live, but I'm happy the other guys can live it too.
Joey,
trust
good win,
me,
Joey.
it's a dream everybody has. If for their
Yeah.
favorite team, they want to lead their team to a victory if you can. But it's only reserved for great football players. And Miller Moss, at least tonight anyway, proved that he's really solid. I was going to say earlier that you mentioned, Tony, about the fact that they played Oregon, Washington, a lot of good teams. The only game that USC lost that was just abysmal was the UCLA game. I know it's a rivalry game, but that was bad. Because, I mean, UCLA went out there and lost to Cal the next week.
And Notre Dame. That was bad, too.
Well, I mean.
That one I blacked out, though. I blacked that one out.
To Will's
I got
credit,
those
Notre
Men in
Dame's
Black
better than
plastic
UCLA.
things, and I don't remember that game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, but the other thing I was going to say, too, is that the portal, I mean, with the fact that you got NIL and just players, like, if you're not doing good enough, you're gone. I mean, they get rid of you, like basically saying. Like you look at Tennessee. I mean, we don't know the situation, but you talk about Joe Milton opting out. Nico's going to play. You look at Notre Dame, Sam Hartman's opting out. These guys aren't even going to be top draft picks. Look at Malachi Nelson, a top player for USC, just leaving. He's not staying. He's going to go somewhere where he can play. So many examples of this.
And he's a freshman. That's the crazy thing to me is he's a true freshman.
And I think for me, you take all this time to recruit these guys, right? All the money you spend, high school recruiting to bring these guys in for them to leave a year later. A&M's #1 recruiting class all gone. I mean, a guy like Malachi Nelson to lose him, like you said, as a freshman, it just goes to show you that if things don't shift, the portal is just going to become more important. And the less emphasis is going to be on high school recruiting because, like, what's the point of working so hard to get this guy if he's just going to transfer a year later? That's
you know
terrible.
what, Jeffrey, you just brought that up. I mean, you're going to see it. Think about this. Think about how much time and effort goes into getting these 5-star guys and multiple 5-star guys, and how much money you throw to these 5-star guys that may not be there, like you just said, in a year. Whereas when you have the portal, I mean, what the guy sees, he sees his NIL, he meets the head coach and maybe his position coach, and whammo, then he's next thing you know, he's on a plane coming to visit. I mean, that literally there's no time involved in these guys. And you also know that these guys can play. They've shown themselves in college football on the field that they can actually play. So people keep saying, "Oh, no way that it's going to be all done through the high school ranks still, and that you're going to, and then you supplement through the portal." I think for the most part that's true, but I think it's really in two positions. I think interior defensive line, but more than anything, I think on the offensive line. Offensive line is where you have to recruit these 5-star guys. And you know what? I'll tell you what, USC, I love Henson, but he's got to start landing some 5-star linemen because we have some guys that I think, very well could be, Elijah Page probably should be a 5-star in my opinion. But, again, it's a hard position to pick. But there's some can't miss guys that USC has missed on. And just imagine if we had we had a Josh Connerly, a couple other guys, if we had our NIL together and we were giving the right package or giving the right presentation to guys at the 11th hour, like some other schools are doing up north. It could really change. Well, it could have changed a complete complexion of the season. Imagine having a left tackle in Josh Connerly, and then you had Monheim slowly bringing along Page and then sliding Monheim inside. That probably would have been what happened with just one tackle in that 5-star range. So we'll see. But I agree with you, Jeffrey. The transfer portal, I think you can see more the top programs, the larger NIL. They're going to start putting their time into those, pulling in the 5-star offensive linemen, and then supplementing all the skill players through the portal.
It's smart because you think about it. When you get a guy from the portal, that's like been in college for 2-3 years, he's going to be able to actually contribute. Whereas these freshmen that do not play and then leave, it's just a waste of effort, a waste of money, a waste of time. It stinks, but it's just the way it is. Bringing in a junior that's already played at a previous school or whatever, has a lot of experience bringing him in, and it costs a lot less and less time. It's going to be a lot smarter for these programs. I completely agree. What are you saying, Will?
I'll say this, Tim. I mean, I feel like for O-line,
Hmm.
they're the hardest to grade out by the scouts. Because, like, most of the guys, like I know people call Notre Dame O-line U. A lot of the guys that we brought in were 4 stars. Like, almost all of them were 4 stars. So if Henson can coach these guys up, maybe, like, not even, like, as well as Harry Houston did, like, I think you guys can get a good O-line.
Hmm.
You just got to bring in the guys and keep them together.
Yeah. Well, again, I'll tell you this: the guys we brought in, we have right now, that I showed you on the banner there. Those 4 guys, those 5 guys, I think are the foundation of what we're going to have. And then even in the last class, they just keep adding to it. They're stacking our lines. Our lines are getting stacked with young offensive linemen who may not be the 5-star names everyone's gushing over, but I'll tell you that USC has had a lot of 5-star linemen that just never worked out, and a lot of our best linemen have been 3 stars and 4-star linemen. So I'm very happy with, especially we haven't even seen guys. We haven't seen Banuelos yet. I can't wait to see him get out there. There's a ton of young talent at USC that we saw flashes of. Like I was talking to a Gabe over on the Trojan Blade. And we were talking about how we really thought that the young running backs were getting involved in this game, but they got in early. But Quentin Joyner got in. I don't think Peterson got in. We didn't see a lot of them, but we did see the receivers. But there's a lot of young talent on this USC team that we haven't seen yet, Trojan. So get ready. It's there. It's going to happen.
Real quick, some guy in chat said that I'm the guy that said Florida State should have been in the playoff last month. I just want to say this real quick. The only reason I said that
should have been.
The only
should have
reason
been,
I
'cause
said that
every
is
other-
because of precedent. You talk about
every other,
Cincinnati,
like,
TCU.
every
They've done it
other
every
power-
single time. They should have been in the playoff. It's
Yeah.
insane that they didn't get in because look what they did with Liberty. Liberty won the games. SMU did not, but SMU was the better team. So that's not fair. I agree that Texas, Washington, and Alabama are better football teams, and they deserve to be in. But if that's the case, then TCU shouldn't have got in last year. Should have been Alabama.
Mhm.
That's
hey,
what
guys,
the argument was.
We got LBC rejoining us live from the Holiday Bowl.
That's
LBC, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Hopefully it's not too loud here. I got away from the fireworks. The fireworks show just ended.
Oh, I think we just lost LBC. We'll get him back here in just a sec. We got Jackson real quick. Will and Jeffrey, any final thoughts here?
Just I don't know. I'm happy for you guys. You guys have been. I mean, not you guys have been going through it, but like it's been a bumpy season for SC. I know you guys were thinking playoffs, so I'm happy that the season can end off on a good front note. And yeah, I mean, as an Irish fan, I'm excited to see my Irish against the Bees. I'm excited to see Charles Jagasaw play at O-line. The guy's freaking huge, and he's finally going to get some playing time. So I'm excited to see my Irish on Friday, and I'm happy for you guys.
Go Irish, beat the Bees.
Yeah, I'll be pulling for you guys. Go for it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Will.
My final thoughts are is I'm really happy for you guys that you're able to win. I'm happy for any fan base that can get a bowl win. I mean, Indiana hasn't won a bowl game since '91, so some programs want bowl wins and they can't get them. So happy for USC, they got it done.
Hey, you guys got a good new coach in Indiana.
Kurt Signetti, it might be the new era. Maybe he'll be competitive against USC. I doubt it. USC probably blitzes every time, but that's what Bama's for. Alabama they'll win some games, but it's funny. But I'm glad for y'all. I hate it for Caleb Williams that his career ended the way it did. I still really do. It stings, but it is what it is. He's going to be fine in the NFL. But talk to you guys later. It was a blast of a bowl game, and congrats to USC guys. And I hope you have a happy New Year.
Thanks,
Thank you. And by the way, make sure you reach out to Austin. I love that guy so much. He's the sweetest guy in the whole world.
He's
got to be taking this pretty tough.
Soon. Let me talk.
Where is Austin? Is Austin? If you're watching, go Cards. You guys had a great game.
Yeah.
We were glad to play you guys.
They can't take away that 10-3 season. Great season for Cardinals. So fight on you, bud.
Fight on, guys.
Fight on, Jeffrey. All right.
How's it going?
Back with us, and we got Jackson joining us.
How's it going, gents? Congratulations on the victory in the Holiday Bowl.
Thanks. What'd you think of the game?
I was impressed with Miller Moss. I mean, he was pretty awesome. I mean, I say he should be your new starting quarterback next year.
Well,
He was
I'm
pretty
sure he has the
impressive.
inside track. He definitely has the inside track for sure now, right? Because we only have one other guy, Jake Jensen, who came in. By the way, someone had a good point. You know, Jensen came in on that crucial 4th down play, and man, you know, put his nose down and got that nasty yard. That was amazing to see. It's good to see Jensen get a chance to shine in the bowl game as well.
It was.
Well, I know that there's some QBs that you're looking for in the transfer portal. What do you think about Diego Pavia from New Mexico State
For what?
as the new quarterback? Because I know y'all were talking about getting Will Howard, Cam Ward, all that stuff, but then it's like, or are you sticking with Miller Moss for 2024?
Oh, it's not. I don't know what Lincoln Riley's going to do. I think Miller Moss just made a strong case for him being the man. I wonder if a performance like this is going to give hesitation to other guys, especially a guy that's going to cut like a Will Howard's only coming in for 1 year. He's got one shot. You got Miller Moss has been in the system for a couple of years. Well, 3 years now. Well, 2 years now. And so he's in Riley's system. And he knows it. As a matter of fact, they said he knows that, Riley said he knows our offense better than anybody. So for him to come in, and Will Howard have 1 year, he's got to really be gambling on himself. And I'll tell you what, though, if he did come in, does Miller stay? Because I don't think a guy like that's gonna come in if he wasn't guaranteed the job. And that would be a shame after the way Miller played, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I was thinking like Will Howard, like if he did like come to USC, it would be like Jalen Hurts coming to Oklahoma in 2019.
What were we gonna say, LBC? Sorry.
No,
Rick?
Uh-oh.
let Jackson go ahead and make his comment. I'll chime in afterwards. I was
Oh,
going to say, Jackson, go ahead and comment.
I was
I'll
just
chime
saying
in
that,
afterwards.
if Will Howard goes to USC, it would be like Jalen Hurts going to Oklahoma in 2019.
And Rick, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, and Tim, you probably had some inkling, and as well as you, Tony. Miller Moss is an outstanding young man, and he's been with this program. He's been in this system with Lincoln Riley for 2 years. He was here, a holdover from Clay Helton, very smart guy. And to see him do what he did tonight, I don't think anybody predicted he would do this. We knew he would come out here and play a great game, but he was money. He made a statement tonight. And like I said earlier, now we kind of know why maybe Malachi hit the transfer portal, because he kind of knew. Why wouldn't you want to come out and play maybe a quarter or two and showcase yourself to transfer? No, you jumped in the transfer portal beforehand, and you had no leverage. So I don't know who is advising Malachi Nelson, but that was the wrong move from a business standpoint, because that basically tells you that he's living off of his 5-star status. And we really don't know what Malachi Nelson is, because he had that injury in his non-throwing shoulder. He had surgery. Did he rehab enough? We don't know. There's a lot of questions about Malachi Nelson. I wish him the best. But Miller Moss never had a doubt about who he was. We don't need a transfer, with all due respect, Jackson, from New Mexico State or wherever. We don't even need Will Howard. What we saw tonight was Miller Moss, and this guy is very capable of taking this offense, leading this team with all this talent, these young guys, into the Big Ten next year. So, Will Howard probably lost some NIL value with USC. I don't think he comes to USC next year. Don't really need him, because he's not going to come at the price that USC is now going to evaluate. This is a business. And Miller Moss pretty much sealed his deal, in my opinion.
Well, I will say, though, I'm definitely looking forward to the USC LSU game next year on September 1st. That's going to be awesome right there.
In
And
Vegas.
plus, this is a momentum builder in the preseason for 2024. And we know that LSU can't quite get it done in non-conference play in the 2020s. So,
They did. They lost to UCLA right before UCLA lost to Fresno.
Yep, 2021, and then they got embarrassed by Florida State 2 years in a row. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing USC and LSU on there. I mean, that's probably going to be like the only time we see USC on ESPN or ABC really in 2024. Which I mean,
And
you
I
don't
would
need
say,
ESPN.
and I would say, absolutely good riddance. Okay, I'm fine.
Exactly.
I am fine with that. Really quickly, guys, we have 400 people in here right now. Look, down here in the corner is a subscribe button down the corner. If you guys have, first off, thank you everyone for being here. Really appreciate it. We try to get as much USC content out to you as possible. We have a weekly call-in show. We've got a Monday night show. And obviously, we continue into next year. We're going to have always our postseason game. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel because there's going to be news. I'm sure of it. Portal, coaching news, whatever. If you are subscribed to us, which is right here, all you do is click the button down here and hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever we go live because we will be going throughout the off season with any news that breaks here at USC.
For sure. And all right, Jackson, is any final thoughts here on the big USC win?
I will say though, I'm impressed. Congrats to a fantastic victory. And I wish USC nothing but awesomeness in 2024. And I hope that next year USC Notre Dame will be on CBS. I want to see Brad Nessler call that game, man. That would be awesome. Because, I mean, we know it's not going to be on big noon kickoff because of Ohio State, Michigan. So, I mean, maybe USC Notre Dame on CBS or on NBC.
It'll be a good one.
I'm excited. And this is a momentum builder for next year. I'm looking forward to see what USC's bringing in 2024. It's going to be great. That defense, I think, can get a lot better.
We'll see. It'll hopefully, fingers crossed. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for letting me come on here. Y'all
Roll
stay
Tide
safe.
this week.
Roll Tide and fight on, gents.
We'll see you soon.
See you, Jackson.
Thanks,
warm.
Jackson. Thanks, bud.
All right. Next up, gang. Hey, real quick, we're going to bring Adam on real quick. But first, I want to say thanks to Sean for the super chat. Sean says, congrats on the win tonight. Thanks for everything you've done this year. Welcome to the Big Ten in 2024. Fight on and go Bucks. Sean,
All right,
go
Sean.
Bucks, you guys. Hope you get a good win. And thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate, Sean, having you here in the community. The Trojan family is open to all, Buckeyes alike. So with that, we've got Adam joining us. Adam, what did you think of the big win tonight?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I think Riley deserves a lot of credit. We had a number of opt-outs. He did a really good job tonight, and the players played with a lot of heart. And I was really proud of us tonight. And you know,
Adam, I was passed out. Adam, can you repeat that again? I want to get a sound clip of that. Say it again, real quick.
Look, Lincoln Riley deserves credit where credit is due, and he deserves credit for this performance tonight. They played well, and I'm proud of them. I think Moss, the biggest thing that stuck out to me is that Moss is very smart, and a very smart QB can be lethal. He made amazing reads and throws under pressure, and I think that Riley needs to forget about Kansas. I spent some time in Kansas. It's a miserable play. I didn't like it. Forget Will Howard. Moss is our guy. No offense to people from Kansas. I'm sure there's some beautiful areas there, but I think Moss is the guy. My question for you guys is, going forward, how well do you think our defense is going to improve, and how do you think we're going to fare in the Big Ten next year? Oh, I also want to say hi to Lane Kiffin, by the way, and wish him a happy holiday. But that's it.
You know, hey, listen, do you pick up, just totally off subject, I'll get your question in a second, but Adam, don't you think that when Miller Moss talks, right, sometimes I pick up a little bit of a Kiffin, just the way when he's talking, he's just matter-of-factly talking. He sounds like those early Kiffin interviews, you know, before he got all snotty with the press, you know. It just sounds like a young Kiffin. It probably goes back to that, just quarterback mind. You know what I mean? Just pretty amazing the way it sounds.
I'm telling you, with a quarterback like Moss, the future can be very bright with his intelligence and his ability to read defenses and react quickly. It's amazing. And I'll tell you, let me tell you something about Lincoln Riley. I've criticized him a lot, but it is clear that he has heard the criticism and he has adjusted with hiring D'Anton Lynn, the linebackers coach from North Dakota State. I mean, so you have to give him credit for that and hope that he succeeds. My only concern is, you know, the Big Ten is going to be tough next year, and is our defense going to step up and be able to compete effectively? What do you guys think?
Well, first of all, I want to add that I think that a lot of the credit for bringing in the new blood that we did and removing the obstacles that were removed goes to RAD Jen Cohen, who knows what she's doing and in typical Jen Cohen fashion doesn't want to take credit for a lot of the work that I think she did to really help the team get the talent that they need to enable Coach Riley's success. So kudos to Jen Cohen. But to answer your question, I mean, you look at where we are for the Big Ten. I think we're in good position. Are we at Michigan, Ohio State levels? Not yet. But are we looking a whole lot better than I think we were looking a couple weeks ago? I think so. What do you think, Tim?
I mean, just looking at the drive chart, I was cheating. I looked at it right now. So they gave it that really. Okay, no one out there in Trojan land lie. You watched them march down the field in that first drive. You're like, oh shit, here it comes. Everyone down the hatches.
Yep.
This is going to be a barn burner, right? Is this look out? But you know what? After that touchdown, it was fumble, punt, and then they got that touchdown on a big play as well. But then it was half that it was punt, and they got a couple touchdowns, and then to finish out the game, that's what it is. Finish. When you talk about a defense, you want to finish, right? And how they did is they held them on downs, and then they held them on that, and they got that fumble, that strip at the very end of the game, and you really answered it. We talked about earlier. Was it Jeffrey? It was Jeffrey. We're gonna need a big, instead of putting a bunch of money into a quarterback, maybe we get ourselves one of those top dollar nose tackles, because the big expensive guys are going to be your quarterbacks, obviously, but you get those nasty, huge difference maker interior defensive linemen. Put one right beside Bear Alexander, and then watch and see if someone can move that middle like they were doing earlier. And then also, I wouldn't mind seeing again. I know we have some young guys coming in. But man, if we can get a top dollar left tackle, so give me a top dollar. So save the money on the quarterback. Give me a top of the line, just lights out left tackle. Pay big dollar and give me that big defense. Give me that zero technique inside that could stop everything, and then I will be a happy guy. And then we're gonna need someone. There's no crack on Jensen, but we're gonna need someone because let's face it, Miller goes down. We don't have anything, so they're gonna have to go to the portal. But I don't think we have to go spend throwing big dollars at Will Howard anymore. I mean, I know that Gabe's going to crucify me for this later, but I'm really starting to feel that you give Miller showed us, if you give him protection, he can cook. So let's let it happen.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry. So Miller, really quickly, I want to do this too. So we had the punt, right? So they had their big long. We come in, we 3 and out, and they go on the field. We're like, okay, here it goes. 2023 revisited, right? But then the offense. Oh man, we need a field. Maybe we need to throw a couple bucks at field goal kicker too. But then after the missed field goal, it was touchdown. That interception that probably was a bad read, but that would have, that's from the 3-yard line. Touchdown. At the end of the game, they punted. In reality, they probably don't punt. They probably go for it, if it was a game, right? So really, the offense was on the field the entire game after that miss, after that 3 and out. The rest of the game, they were moving the ball. It's simply amazing. Great performance by the offense of Miller.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And last comment before I get off is, guys, when I look at Moss, I think about Drew Brees. I'm telling you, he's got the intangibles.
And another Sigma Chi as well.
Yeah, well, I was a Pike,
Drew
but
Brees and Miller Moss.
But if our defense looks fast too, and if they get a little more size, I think we can be really successful. So credit is due where credit is due. Riley, you deserve credit for tonight. It's a great win. We're all happy, and get ready for USC baseball to be coming back to the national stage too. Thanks, guys.
I can't wait. Hey, before you go, Adam, we just want to thank you for all season being a part of the community here, calling in. We're always glad to have you, and really appreciate having you every time.
My pleasure, guys.
Man.
Great show.
Fight on.
Happy New Year. Fight on.
Adam.
Happy New Year.
You too.
All right. Hey, we've got another super chat, and we've got Austin coming in for a little bit of Louisville perspective here. Austin, of course, friend of the show, calls in a lot. We love him, part of the community. But Justin Bray says, keep Miller, sign a few young QBs out of the portal and use that NIL money we would spend on Howard. And as Tim says, get some D linemen and O linemen. I agree with you, Tim.
Yeah, that's might be a strategy, but they're going to need to pick. Like you said, you got to pick up a young guy, maybe someone that's not quite top dollar, but definitely can come in a backup situation because we do have quarterbacks on the way. But yeah, I think that money should be spent definitely on a zero tech and a left tackle. That's my vote.
I like it. All right. Well, hey, let's bring in Austin Williams. Austin is a great friend of the show and a devout Louisville supporter. Austin, your Cardinal had a great season, a good game tonight. What did you think of it?
First off, thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, it was a good game tonight, especially if you were a USC fan. But I must say, that defense that we put out on that field tonight, that was not the defense we've been putting out on the field all year long. I mean, that was number one that jumps off the page for us because we had been getting to the quarterback. We had been picking off teams, getting fumble recoveries, creating turnovers. But USC just neutralized our defensive line like I ain't never seen any team do before. And, you know, and maybe that's one of the things Lincoln Riley keyed in on is like, hey, Louisville's got a great pass rush. Let's try different pass protections. Let's see if we can't get Miller Moss, you know, comfortable and see what he can do. I mean, for Christ's sakes, he threw 6 touchdown passes, almost set a record. I mean, I don't know what more comfortable he could have gotten, guys. I mean, he had a field day with our defense, which is very disappointing on my end.
That was my biggest fear because I didn't watch a lot. I'll admit I didn't watch a lot of Louisville games, but I did watch what you guys did to Notre Dame. I was like, and I said, okay, our difficulty on the right side of our offensive line, your incredible pass rush. You know, I hope Miller makes it through the second quarter. That's what I was thinking in my head. What now? It's a double-edged sword. Henson, what, you know, by the way, going back to Gabe said he wanted to see, you know, why don't we give Elijah Page a shot at the tackle, and then kick Kingston over to, which he was at Washington State, tackle. Then you bring Monheim inside with Pregnon and then Dedich, and guess what? That's pretty much the line that we saw. And like you said, you're amazed to see it. Look at what they did. This is not a bad front seven for Louisville and USC. With that lineup, with that line. So the good news is, wow, look who we have. The bad news is, where the hell was that all year? You know, I get it. You're bringing Page along. He's a true freshman. But, man, they did make that really nasty pass rush look kind of pedestrian, Austin.
Yeah, they certainly did. And it's very disappointing because if you look at it, we got to Notre Dame quite a bit, like you mentioned, Tim. And Notre Dame arguably had one of the best offensive lines in the country to a lot of people. And USC got to experience that firsthand as well when you played them in South Bend. And, you know, and tonight it just didn't look like our defense wanted to be there either because Quincy Riley was the only one that I really saw that was trying.
I will say,
go ahead.
As Tim said, though, Austin, that first drive, all USC fans thought, oh, my God, we've seen this movie before.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right about Riley. That guy balled out. He not only on the interception, right? He had the interception, correct? He had the interception return in the end zone. Was that Riley?
Yes, I do believe so.
And then later in the game, I think it might have been Taj, or no, it wasn't. It was 50. It was transfer. Oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. He came over the top and he batted the ball down. It was just a beautiful play to watch. He was all over the field, like the entire game. You saw Riley just going from sideline to sideline, making incredible plays. And you know, I was surprised you guys didn't have more success up front. I really thought for sure that you would that you guys would dominate the line of, you know, be in our backfield. It was Dorian Singer that Riley came across the middle and knocked it down. But yeah, you know, without him, you guys might have been in trouble because those were 2 big plays right there that really slowed down USC. But listen, you know, you can't take away the 10-win season from you. You know, you gotta be happy with what Brom's doing over there. You know, hopefully you guys got him locked up. Purdue, you know, one man's trash, another man's treasure. I didn't know that all the Brom family lineage going through Louisville. I know he was a quarterback. He was, but I didn't know the entire family had links to Louisville. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a long lineage. But I will say though, before you get to the super chat, I will say the one positive I can take from this is that USC's running game didn't get going, and I thought that was going to be one of the biggest keys for y'all to get this win was for USC to run the ball, keep Miller Moss off the ground, and it was the complete opposite. Y'all couldn't run the ball as well as maybe you should have, but Miller Moss didn't need the running game tonight.
We'll take it. And hey, real quick, USC Gaucho, thank you, friend of the show. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being a part of the show all season long. He says, shocked at how well we played tonight. Way to cap a disappointing season. Happy to say Miller time is here to stay. And I think we all share this. Can't wait for the new DC. And the whole new defense energy.
While we're there, really quickly, sorry, Austin. Again, so Odom's got a lot of crap, and rightfully so, a lot of stuff, and Sean Nua. But hats off to them for, again, shutting down Louisville in this game. I mean, for the better part of the game, he really did a good job. I think, obviously, Austin, you're going to tell us it did not help that Jake Plummer. That's the biggest thing you have to worry about when you're quarterback is when he goes, he throws, he extends out, and then he pops his finger on a face mask or a helmet. That's always bad news when you get that dislocation. But, USC's defense early on just had a different look about them. And I didn't see guys knew how to line up, and you had a lot of young guys, and they all knew where to line up. So hats off to Odom and Nua for doing a great job on defense. It was a really great game to watch.
Yeah, the defense looked better. I also felt like, and maybe it was the USC energy, maybe we brought the Cal out of Plummer. We brought him back to his old roots.
Well, he torched us last time we saw him, but yeah.
That's true. He did.
I will say, though, one good thing that I can take away from our offense tonight, Isaac Garendo has been a big hero all year. I hate to say it for you guys on this end. Your running defense still needs a lot of work, and I know that's going to come with the new defensive coordinator. I know for you, if there is a negative for tonight, that would be it more than likely. But for us, that's one of the positives. It's like, well, we're still running on USC, so it's not all terrible. We still put up 28 points. Now, if we play USC,
if you're not running on USC, you have problems.
Now, if we play USC down the road with the new defense coordinator and we're still doing this, then there may even be more questions. But yeah, and another big key was Jack Plummer, like you said, Tim. He's been turnover prone all year. Y'all met him last year at Cal, and he had a lot of passing yards. And I was thinking, well, we are missing Thrash, and we don't have Jawar Jordan. Yeah. Those are two key pieces that help the offense go. But I'm like, we still have plenty of weapons, as USC does. But it was the running game that really kept us in this game. But I knew after Miller Moss threw that last touchdown pass, I was like, this is USC's night. This is their moment. They can have it because everything was open. It was like we couldn't cover a parked car tonight.
Isaac Garendo had himself a game. I mean, on the ground, he was 23 carries for 161 yards, 3 touchdowns, an average 7 yards a carry. Through the air, he had 7 catches for 42 yards. So, I mean, 5 targets and 5 catches. So he had a hell of a game. But, remember, Austin, we were missing a couple of guys too, the least of which was Caleb Williams. And then you go down the line, we were missing Rice outside as our receiver. And it's just – and Lloyd at running back. I think there were a lot of opt-outs. It's a shame with these bowl games that guys do lock it. And I do know both those guys are a huge part of your offense. So it's rough to see that. But great game. Glad you called in. Glad you're okay. Want to make sure you're all right because I know you're up for the season. So
hey, Austin, we always love having you on the show too. Go Cards in any game other than tonight. Go Cards.
But congratulations, guys! Fight on to all your Trojans and you, Tim and Rick. Y'all deserve it. Y'all earned it. Bask in the glory. Have a fun night, guys.
Thanks, Austin. Fight on.
And those Braun brothers, man, I'm telling you, I think they're going to do something great at Louisville. So enjoy it.
All right. Next up, we've got Avery Nobles. Avery, welcome to the show.
Good evening, guys. How's everybody doing? What's up, family? How are y'all?
What's up, Avery?
Celebrating a win.
Absolutely. Tonight, I just want y'all to kind of give me just a little bit of leeway on the soapbox tonight because I'm here in Virginia, and I was able to watch the game at a local bar, and I just have a good bit of what I saw and what ultimately aligns with who we are and what we are as a program, and I just kind of want to lay it all on the line tonight. And Tim, you know that I called you first game of the season, so the ability for me to go through the entire season and now be at the end of the season, I just want to lay it all on the line tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey. Sound off. Let's hear it.
I'm gonna be honest with the two of you. I am friends with individuals that are Trojans, and Jeremiah Graves and Averill Spicer. I am a cousin of current commit Jonte, well, not current commit, but current recruit, Jonte Cook.
Whoops. I'm just
Um,
kidding. I'm just kidding. Avery.
If I had to be all the way transparent with you, I attended a HBC University or HBCU and got my degree from there. And the two things
Nice.
that align me with my school and your program is at my school the motto was be ram tough, and at your school it's fight on. And the two things that align with that or correlate with me is tonight I saw individuals on the field that were Trojans, despite whatever stars, despite how they got recruited, despite how they got there, they were real Trojans. And tonight I saw individuals that were fighting on, and ultimately that's really what has been, just being honest with you, the volume or the capacity for the season, right? They have been through so much turmoil. They've heard this, they've heard that. But tonight, I saw individuals that were willing to fight on. And Tim, I have been giving us blues and jazz all season. But tonight, it all correlated to the university slogan, to them fighting on and representing who and what represents USC. And I'm proud to be a fan tonight because what I saw was individuals that wanted to put the Carlin and goal on tonight, despite if they played, despite if they started, despite if they were fourth string, third string, etc. And I'm telling you, I'm starting to see Lincoln understand. And me, I've been talking to you. I've been talking to you and Matt. Lincoln started to understand what represents USC tonight, right? It comes with the lineage. It comes with the history. It comes with wanting to understand what it is to come out the Coliseum and put those colors on. And I saw it tonight, and I really saw it with Miller Moss tonight. And just being all the way 1,000 with y'all, I don't want to see Will Howard come here. He doesn't embody and represent what USC is. We don't go and get quarterbacks from the middle of the breadbasket country to come here and try to make them represent what we are. We have people that come from Florida, Georgia, etc. That are those guys that embody what USC is. There's no disrespect to him. We don't need somebody to come in and be the California version of Tim Tebow. Why? Because I got Miller Moss, who's got smooth golden hair, and he's going to be that guy because his dad raised him to be that guy. He went to a high school that raised him to be that guy. That's what embodies and represents USC at the end of the day. And what I saw tonight was a culmination of them understanding that, you know what, we've tried it all these type of ways, and it doesn't really represent what USC is.
I think that's a great point, Avery, and very true. You know, I mean, we are going to need some kind of depth there. You know, obviously Riley is the quarterback master, so I'm going to defer to him on staffing decisions. But I think we all feel so much more comfortable tonight on that. Hey, and real quick, we got Slap Happy. Thank you for that $5 super sticker. He says, "Fight on, ladies!" Wow, it is a nice win. Tell us, Avery, does this make you feel more comfortable heading into the Big Ten now?
We still have work to do, right? Like, you know, we saw a good sample size tonight, but I definitely feel comfortable with Lynn at the helms because the individuals that are left in the program, they want to be there. There is no more, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I like that Riley has started to weed out some of the Clay Helton type mindsets, like I'm that guy, so I should play. Nah, if you don't bleed Cardinal and go out there and do it in practice and take care of business, you don't bleed Cardinal and go. So get up out of here. This is what has to be the epitome. It has to be the standard for the program. There is no other program that when the players walk out of the locker room, there's an all-American pathway or walkway when they come out, so they can see the other individuals that have laid the path for this program. That's what it represents to be at USC. The only thing I was really missing tonight was I wish Darren Barlow could have closed the game out. The last caller talked about, man, you guys couldn't get the run game going and all that, but guess what? You got it going when you needed to get it going because that represents USC. Why? Because I'm going to run the ball down your throat when you know it, when it's coming, because that's who we are. That's what represents to be at this program. I think he's slowly but surely getting it together. I mean, come on, Tim. I've talked to you weeks at a time about all the areas of opportunity. Tim, I manage in corporate America. I can only tell you how I see things when I see it from a management standpoint, but I see Lincoln making that turn, and it really matters. It really matters.
Yeah, no, you've been on message and consistently on message all along about what you want to see, you know, with Lincoln Riley and the mistakes they're making on defense. I kept saying that, mid-season is not much you can do with this mess that they had. But we have seen, I think you would agree, that now that you have the offseason moves that Lincoln's made, he has made a commitment. I mean, I loved it. I don't know about you, and I guess I'm sure a bunch of people rolled their eyes, but he said everything we do going forward is going to make us into an elite defensive squad. And you're starting to see it, including a new mindset and an attitude, because they came to they came out and they were ready to tackle. They were ready to smash. I mean, I saw a couple of big hits in that game from Trojans. I'm still like to see a little more consistency at the middle, but that comes with personnel. And what do you think? I brought out earlier, instead of going out for a hot shot, so after the spring, going some big name quarterback, what about Avery? Do you want us to throw some money at like a 3 technique or a 0 technique? Big money at that and getting a left tackle?
Absolutely. I'm a Georgia boy. Y'all came all the way to Georgia and got Kyle Moore. That's a real Trojan. That's a real Trojan. That's a real Trojan. He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to make sure that the guy in the middle gets his numbers because I'm willing to take on that double team. I'm willing to come through and clean the guard up. I'm about that life. That's what represents USC. Not some guy that's happy because they're throwing me a bag and I'm coming out here to put the sunshades on and kick it on the beach. Nah, dog. Nah, dog. No, dog, we better than that. And that's who and what we are. Ultimately, man, I'm glad with what we did tonight because I told you at the beginning of my soapbox speech tonight, the individuals that were on the field, and I ain't a fan of number 47, but guess what? Him and 31 were on the field tonight because they bleeded. Despite their undersized, despite them not being the stats, those guys represent they're the definition of fight on.
Yes, exactly.
That's what the program is. If someone don't want to come here and fight on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, no disrespect, get their ass up out of here.
I mean, definitely. And I like you brought that point because they are undersized. They can't, that's the way God made them, right? You could pack on so much weight onto those frames, and they get inside and they make plays, and then they don't, and they get shoved around. But we're putting them in those positions, playing them out of position, and it's not on them. So I agree 100% with you, Avery.
Avery, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying we have another call waiting, but real quick, give us your final takes on where we're going, your celebrations of the game, and what you're looking at for the offseason.
So the offseason, you already know we got to load the pantry back up. You got to put good groceries in the cabinet so we can cook good meals. So I believe that's coming. I do believe that's coming. I do believe this game has definitely weeded out those individuals that don't want to be here. I'm going to say this too. There's a 2 to 5% chance that I think Caleb could possibly come back. I don't think so, but I think he might possibly come back because this shows what I just said, the definition of fighting on. And all we need to do, this is USC. At the snap of a finger, at the click of a button, we can load the cabinet up and be right there at where we need to be to fight on forward. So I do believe that coming this offseason, the changes are coming. I do believe the changes are coming. My dad and I purchased tickets tonight for the game at LSU. So I will be there to see the team. I'm just glad that everything in which that I spoke on my diatribe tonight embodies and represents what we're doing as a program and as an organization. You're going to have to fight. We have games in Wisconsin, Iowa, Penn State, etc. But guess what? These Cali boys ain't used to no snow. They ain't used to some country boy throwing beer at them and all that type of stuff. But guess what? That's going to embody fighting on. That's what it's.
Well, not only that, but people forget we've been playing for well over a century in the northern climates of Pullman and Seattle and Salt Lake City at elevation and all sorts of really cold places. So we're not.
I don't doubt any of that. In fact, I'm such a USC fan. I remember when we were smacking Penn State and Michigan across the face. Shout out to Damian Williams for going ham against Penn State. Shout out to Matt Leinart for going ham against Michigan. Shout out to the old Pete Carroll days when we smacked Iowa in the face. I'm very much familiar with our ability to go against the Big Ten in these programs. But guess what? You're not doing it just for a bowl game now. You're doing it every Saturday. You're doing it every Saturday.
It's going to be fun.
And that's going to embody what? The fight on spirit, right? So this group is what it represents.
Avery, these guys stepped up. I mean, this boggles my mind even more. This is SC's first bowl win. You brought it up since since that Penn State Rose Bowl game
Absolutely.
in the 2016 season, 2017 Rose Bowl. This is the first bowl game that's unheard of. USC's, next to Alabama, USC's bowl record is second to none. It was like our 36th victory. For us to go on a dry spell like that, for all these guys that no one gave them a chance, like you said, they embody fight on because they showed up, undermanned, bunch of guys, young freshmen, very talented, but also some guys are 3-stars, came together as a team. This coaching staff came together as a team. The defense under a lot of crap. Odom and Nua got together and put together a game plan enough to basically put the screws to Louisville. They gave them 28 points that game. I mean, who would have thought we're going to hold the Brahms offense to under 30 points? I mean, that alone was amazing to me. But Avery,
we got
Avery,
rid of the
thank you
people
for
on
calling.
the staff that didn't embody fighting on.
Sorry,
I know everybody
sorry.
is so disappointed about Dante Williams not being there, but guess what? As good as he recruited, the team looked better at the position that he coached tonight because he ain't no fight on guy. So guess what? Go where you need to be, dog. Go where you need to be.
Hey Avery, thank you for calling. Real quick, any last minute, just 2 seconds? Any final thoughts here? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I got something on the way, and all of us are gonna link up going into 2024. So let's fight on together. And hey, man, thank y'all for everything this year.
Fight on, Avery. Love talking to you, Avery.
Always glad to have you. All right, next up, D-Mac. D-Mac in Hoke. Miller is the man tonight. In Hoke signaling case. What do you think of the big win?
Oh man, it was so much fun to watch, and it's been such a long time coming. I was going to bring that up. It's been since Penn State, and I was running around in a hotel buffet breakfast doing laps in Thailand for that game. Man, it was just so much fun, and this was so much fun too because the guys showed up. The guys you could tell they want to be there, right? It's what Lincoln was talking about a week ago, right? He's saying, I want people who want to be here, people who know the USC tradition. And those guys wanted to be there. We got to see some freshmen, it was just so much fun. So, yeah, that was, long time coming. But we needed that. I think that was huge for recruiting. I think that's going to, for a lot of people who thought, oh, maybe this team is down and out, maybe I'm not going to go there. For recruiting and transfer portal, it's not over yet, right? And it's not a bad class, but it could definitely use a couple 5-stars. If anyone's left out there, someone to get flipped, this is the kind of, energy and emotion that you want to show them.
Well, and I think you're right, too. Like, this game tonight, people needed to see this game. And it helped that it was on Big Fox in prime time with the #1 crew. We looked good. The game looked good. Like, everything about this, I thought, was a win for the program. Looked like USC should look like.
He's got the cigar. Yeah. I love it.
We got the cigars.
I know.
Because I'm not in America, it's a nice Cuban.
As it should be. Which one? Cohiba?
Trinidad. Yeah, I usually smoke
very
nice, but it's an afternoon, so I'm going for a small one.
You're good.
Later tonight, we'll celebrate with some champagne and a big fat, probably a Robusto.
Okay. The Robustos are good.
Those are good. Yeah. So I like to see. I know it's going to be a little bit of a rough year next year because we don't have the size yet. So hopefully people can kind of temper their expectations a little bit. But man, putting out that kind of energy in this game today, man, the only way it could have been better is if I had been there.
I feel
was
you on
there,
that.
and it was on fire. The electricity that was there was fantastic. Louisville, I credit them. They had fans that were there, but there was a lot of Trojans. I went down on the Amtrak from Orange County. It was the best thing I could do. I train gated for the first time. I'm holed up right now in my nephew's gas lamp apartment because little did I know that there was this tradition at the Holiday Bowl, the KGB 101 radio station. They do it like a bomb fireworks show after every Holiday Bowl. So the place was blowing up. I had to duck into places. I couldn't get Wi-Fi, and I'm here. But let me tell you, the Holiday Bowl was fantastic. It was like Trojans all over the place. It was great for the game. The vibe was fantastic. So many players, as you saw, showed out. freshman players. And so USC showcased tonight, like you said, Tony, prime time on Fox for everybody to see what's going on. And Miller Moss showed that he was the guy. You know what? We don't need Will Howard. We don't need Malachi Nelson. We don't need the national media poo-pooing about all these five stars
we would like to
leaving
do.
from USC. Come on. That's just a lazy narrative. I mean, I saw Andy Staples on On3, basically not giving USC a chance with what's going on with USC with all these five stars. My God, Damani's leaving, Malachi's leaving, Corey's leaving, Relik's leaving. Dial a clue and understand this program. It's actually great that these guys moved on because they have an opportunity, because they weren't going to get an opportunity here. I'm glad that Damani's going to be probably with Dante Williams. You know what? That's your guy. Go do it. Malachi, you're a five-star, but really, let's see where you end up, and then we'll see if you're a five-star. But there's a reason why he didn't show up tonight, because he knew. The rest of the team, did you see how the rest of the team responded to Miller Moss? They knew. He is the leader. Malachi, for whatever reason, love the guy, but he just did not progress the way he needed to after having the off-season shoulder surgery on his non-throwing arm last January. Part of that is showing your teammates. The teammates knew who's the leader. And I wish him good luck, but it's not going to be at USC, and he made that decision.
It was great to see Miller throw, 6 touchdown passes in one in his debut. Come on. That was just wow. So much fun. So much fun. I miss you guys this year. I've been in the chat a little bit and stuff. Haven't dialed in yet, but I've been watching you guys. The show has really blown up this year. Showing all the effort and all the good work that you guys put into it. The offshoots. You guys got your own shows going now too. It's working with all these other good guys like G Greens, Gabe, and it's fun. We got places to go.
And speaking of offshoots, LBC is running a football pool. This morning I was in last place. Tonight I'm in 6th place. I had an undefeated day in the LBC pool today.
Oh, you undefeated. Nice.
Undefeated today in the LBC pool. I went from 30th or 35th or whatever to 6th.
Nice.
So I'm coming for you. I tell your brother I'm coming for him. I think he's in first place.
Yeah, he is in first place. That guy.
I'm getting it.
Man, what a day. What a day. What a way to end this season. What a way to end the rough season, right? On a real high note. Not just a win, but really a statement. Win.
You made the point, thinking about it. So I was actually in the British Virgin Islands. I was on Anegada, the most remote of the British Virgin Islands, watching that Penn State game, like the only TV at the Anegada Reef Hotel. And, you end the season with such a good feeling. And I think, after the last Holiday Bowl debacle, the 2 losing seasons, the god-awful Tulane game.
Skipping a bowl game, not even worth going this year.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it gives us such a good energy going into the season, going into the Big Ten. We needed that. No,
and I said it, but it's going to be big for recruiting. It's going to open some eyes and say, oh, okay, they're not down. They were down, but they're not down.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And we need that. We need that.
Hey.
We got a bunch of new coaches coming in on D. Hopefully, they're going to bring a few more good people with them.
And Miller brought honor to the University of Sigma Chi.
He sure did. He's going to be the youngest significant Sig.
He's
only a sophomore, right?
He's a sophomore. Yeah, can we nominate it? Let's say Mike Greenberg. We're sending in the papers tomorrow. Call Mike.
Balfour Award. He
definitely got the Balfour Award tonight.
I was a finalist for that. A little toot my own horn.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah,
well
I got
done.
to go. It was huge. It was a great trip.
That is a fun conference. He deserves it. We're sending him. We're putting him on a plane. I actually let them know. I don't know. They may have something out tomorrow on their Instagram account or something celebrating him.
Nice. They
So
should.
they made a big deal when the Holder scored the 2-point conversion and did the flip. He was one too.
Yeah.
So Will Rose. That was funny. All right. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Absolutely. Missed you guys this year. I watch from afar. You know,
We're glad
sometimes
to have you. Part of the family.
Yeah, you know the time zone. And, you know, being here in Japan, occasionally I got some 2 a.m. games, but luckily I might miss the Pac-12 after dark because those are the best games for me.
Those are the best times. That's how it was when I was in
Start
Afghanistan.
at 10 or 11 in the morning. Nice.
Exactly. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right, thanks guys. Fight on.
Fight on. All right, joining us next, we've got one of our favorite Buckeyes. We've got Sean Garner. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Great to see you once again.
What'd you think? Did they look maybe not quite Big Ten-ish, but moving in that direction tonight?
Well, you didn't look like a Big Ten team tonight, and that is mostly a compliment. I mean, it's just real dynamic, high-level pass ups. Seems like Lincoln can just sort of plug and play at those positions. And I don't know. I mean, like this to me, significant thing that is worthwhile about bowl season, about these games. I mean, like you guys have endured kind of a run, and I can even see a glow coming from, like even everyone's. You guys are all happy about what happened. I like you guys are so much more optimistic for the future as game, right?
Well, it was a rough end of the season for SC. I mean, a lot of games that people thought they would win and they didn't. Some games they blew. Some games that we just won, by the hair of our chinny chin that we probably shouldn't have. And I mean, this was a team that was a couple bad plays from 4-8.
Yeah, well, Sean, and it's also we got to see a lot of until this point. There's been a lot of hype. No one gets to see the practices, but we heard about what an amazing receiver Jacoby Lane is. Everyone's just bragging about him, and you got to see it today on that third down play. His catch radius is insane. Again, get ready for him in the end zone because he's guaranteed he's gonna be a number one end zone target. The way he got that separation in that corner and his hops at his reach, he's got 6'4". He's going to be trouble in the Big Ten in the end zone. And then Mekhi Lemon having his breakout game, just showing why he was one of the he was a 5-star in some of the recruiting services. We got to see the guys. We finally got to see Elijah Page at tackle, get some meaningful moments, and really we got to see Miller Moss. Miller Moss came in the second half of that Stanford game and did not look very impressive. Why? Well, because maybe I don't know, stage fright, get out the first time, whatever. But he really got all the first team reps. He came with a lot of confidence. He talked the entire time. He's a true leader. This guy definitely has that it factor. And he came in and he just ruled the show from the beginning. That 3-and-out, I'm not going to lie, I got a bit worried. But after that 3-and-out, man, they settled down and he really, really took charge. So if you ask me why I'm optimistic, there are still a lot of holes. But now I'm wondering, do we really need a top flight quarterback? Go spend that money on the offensive line and the defensive line. Go out there, pull up your sleeves, NIL, and bring us some guys that can be difference makers in the Big Ten. Definitely, again, a 0 or 3 to some guy inside. Give me someone also on the outside. We have some great young offensive linemen, but give me a 1 or 2 year rental that's a for sure lockdown left tackle. That's where I want our money spent now.
Yeah, we need it.
And you guys are, but you guys are like so much. You guys have such a better idea about what this team needs to do going forward, having played this one game, right? Than you would have been had, like, you not or somehow everybody checked out. Like to me, that this game was a great signifier of program health. Seems like the people that are there are still completely bought in.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just, I mean, I have seen so many teams like in these bowl seasons just go out and lay a turd and lose by 5 touchdowns to teams that they're more talented than. And like you could have done that tonight. And
you mean like we did in the last Holiday Bowl we played in? Or too
Remind
late.
me, when was that?
The Iowa
Blacked
game.
out. It was
Yeah,
not pretty.
I was in that stadium
Yeah.
tonight, and I was surprised. There were more Trojans than I thought were going to show up because of the season that we had. But that showed you how much I think the USC faithful had in this game and how much it meant. And I can't tell you how fun it was at this game watching Miller Moss. I'll tell you what. This is probably one of the better. I mean, this game rivaled some of Caleb Williams' games. He had that much command. And credit Lincoln Riley. I know I've criticized him in the past, but he had the perfect game plan. I said this on my preview earlier this morning on my channel that Louisville was highly rated number 1 in red zone defense. They were number 6 in the country in terms of points allowed. They'd given up 16 touchdowns and 4 field goals in the red zone, where USC had given up 32 touchdowns to compare their defense. So I said Lincoln Riley's got to take some shots downfield, and that's the game plan. You saw that with Deuce Robinson. You saw that with Taj Washington. So Lincoln Riley had the perfect game plan for these guys, and the defense was just amazing. They were covering the boundary. They were tackling in space. It was inspirational. Moving forward, this team is bought in, and it's exciting what's going to happen because this was a showcase game. This was a team that lost to Florida State in their last game 16-6. They were runners-up in the ACC, and this was a guy who's a good quarterback. I didn't think I heard that Jack Plummer was going to opt out of this game, but he played. And they had opt-outs just like USC did, but USC had so many opt-outs, like over 20 opt-outs. And they showed you the talent that nobody really knew about, like Tim had mentioned, Jacoby Lane, Deuce Robinson, Mekhi Lemon, all right? Zachariah Branch didn't even go off all that much. And we had Elijah Page getting some time in the offensive line, and the defense made plays.
Yeah.
Without Damani Jackson. Without Damani Jackson. Oh my goodness. That's
Really
what we were tackling maybe.
Really quickly, guys. We have over 400 people now. Again, but in the bottom hand corner down there, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for being here. But we're going to be going live, and so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It's also the best way to say thank you if you guys enjoy the content. Just take 1 second, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell as well. That way you know when we go live. And one more thing, hit that like button as well. Thank you so much for all being here. We're over at 400 people right now, and many of you are Trojans. Trojans, call in. I'll drop the link again in a second. But if you want to come talk Trojan football, celebrate Louisville Cardinal fans, if you want us to commiserate, come in. Join the show. It's your show as well.
Yeah, we have one last chance here for folks. We've put it in there, but we'd love to hear from anybody else who wants to call in and give us their thoughts on the game. So I'll put Tim. You got it in there.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have it, we'll give folks one more chance to call in. I thought it was. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say. Early thoughts on Deonton Len, like how involved has he been in the program so far? Is he reports? I mean, he didn't have anything to do with this game plan, obviously, for tonight.
Yeah.
But
No.
So just
no, he's been really doing a lot of recruiting, is what I heard. He's not really doing as much, with the team and practicing. He's just out there. Talking to recruits and doing recruiting at this point.
Right. And I mean, he has to be an attractive candidate for any defensive front seven guys.
We would hope so. And Entz, Entz coming from North Dakota State, it'd be just phenomenal coach.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys how you managed to do that. I mean, I thought he's a Division I head coach in waiting, and you guys got him to take a position coaching job.
You know what that is? That's USC being USC.
Yeah, don't forget about Doug Belk. This guy is a guy that Saban really wanted to hire and has been after. He said it. I've been after him for a while. We lose a recruiter, in Dante Williams, but we're gaining a guy that has some cachet on the East Coast, Southeast, and he comes with all his bona fides as far as spending 3 years as a grad assistant under that. That, by the way, in the golden age of that Alabama teams, when they had just amazing coaching staff. So this is the time USC, we brought in, like I said, Entz at linebacker. We brought in Belk at a cornerback coach. And then Lynn shows what he did last year, coming in highly prized. And the only reason why he was hired, he made that huge leap, is because he had so many people, telling, John Harbaugh telling Chip Kelly, saying, hey, man, this guy is legit. Make sure that you have a look at him. And he comes from that Ravens, just tough, knuckled down, and what he did at short of a miracle at UCLA this year is why he's the new defensive coordinator at USC.
Did you see the Ravens play the 49ers last weekend and the game Kyle Hamilton had? Guess who coached Kyle Hamilton in his rookie year? It was D'Anton Lynn. And Kyle Hamilton flourished. He had like 65 tackles his rookie year at Baltimore. And yeah, between D'Anton Lynn, Belk, and Entz, you got to credit Jen Cohen, because she's a G. She's the one who hired Kalen DeBoer, who is now the National Coach of the Year in the college football playoff. And many maybe didn't even recognize the job that she did hiring him from Fresno State. It wasn't a big newsmaker, but look what happened. She knows how to work with the agents in college football. And what she's doing is amazing. Those 3 hires are huge, and it's going to pay off dividends in the Big Ten.
Anyone can make the obvious hires, right? Like anyone can be the AD and say, "I want Urban Meyer," right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it takes a really sophisticated eye to spot the talent that maybe is not quite appreciated as much as it should. So, last thing, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you guys do. I know you guys don't get compensated royally and all year you've just given tons of entertainment. I enjoy talking to every one of you as much as I can, and I know things are going to be a little different next year. So, Pac-12 show or anything, I don't know what role you guys are going to continue
USC's
to
off to the Big Ten.
There's going to be a Big Ten show, Sean. We're already talking about having a Big Ten call-in show as well as a Big Ten show that's going to kind of marry up with what's going on right now on Mondays for Mark. So look for that.
I look forward to it, and I will continue to support you guys in whatever way you continue to participate in the Voice of College Football. So
thanks. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sean.
And, thank you, Sean.
Fight on, man.
Go Bucks.
Fight on, go Bucks.
Hey, we want to give a thanks to USC alumnus for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. We definitely appreciate that. We've had the link in the chat here. We're getting towards time. If anybody has any last thoughts that they want to call in, we'll just give them just one more minute for that. Rick, tell us more. You mentioned real briefly, tell us more about the energy in the stadium tonight. You said there were a lot of Trojans. Of course, it's a baseball field, so it's kind of wacky, but it looked a lot of fun. Tell us more about what the game was like.
Well, anybody who lives in SoCal, San Diego is glorious. It's a great city. And I decided at the last minute to go down with friend of the show, Jamie Davenport. He mentioned he was going on Amtrak. So I train gated and enjoyed some adult beverage. And while I was watching the traffic slow down around Camp Pendleton, if you're familiar with the I-5, sometimes getting to San Diego from Orange County can take an hour and a half or 3 hours. So it was very relaxing. A lot of Trojans, probably like 60 Trojans on the train. Get down into San Diego. We were in the gas lamp quarter. A lot of Trojans. They were mellow. I think we were all kind of wondering what was going on. We kind of knew what we were up against, being 7 to 8 point dogs But I'll tell you what, after that first Miller Moss touchdown, the vibe was happening. And you could Louisville fans never really got into it. There was quite a bit of Louisville fans, but there was a good crowd there in San Diego. And I love going down to Petco Park, especially to watch the Dodgers take apart the Padres, because that's our hometown down there in San Diego. But tonight, it was great. The Trojans rocked it. The vibe was there, and it was really cool to see all the Trojans that Tony and Tim we know about, but just didn't get a lot of playing time because there was so much depth. So yes, the national narratives. Oh my God, you lose, Brendan Rice, and you're losing all these wide receivers, right? You're losing Relique Brown. You're losing Malachi Nelson. You're losing all these 5 stars. But people don't know how much depth is on this team. And so a guy like Mekhi Lemon didn't get a lot of run. In fact, he was playing DB part of the last couple weeks practicing. And then you see Jacoby Lane, and you see Deuce Robinson, who we've seen a little bit this year. And we know who Zachariah Branch is. It was good to see Dorian Singer. There are so many options out there. And to see what Miller Moss has done is amazing. And he just showed that he passed Lincoln Riley's offense. He knows the offense. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen in spring camp, what's going to happen like the last week and a half with the transfer portal and moving forward. Guys, what are your thoughts? Tim?
Yeah, again, go ahead, Tony.
Oh, no, I was saying go ahead, and then you give yours, and then we'll bring on. We got 2 more callers here.
Well, again, you said a lot of things I said. We got to see a lot of the young receivers. We got to see the future, our future left tackle, and Elijah Page. And everyone got in there. Hughes got in there. I mean, you saw all over the field, you saw young guys making plays. And that's what we started to show up by talking about the fact that this was not the final game of the 23 season. This was the first game of the 24 season. And those dudes, all of them showed out. So good job, Trojans, and good job, coaching staff.
Yep. All right. Hey, we've got 2 more callers here tonight that have called in. We've got Keith Morton, and then we'll do Leandre. Keith, what did you think of the game tonight?
Let's go.
Yeah,
Can you guys hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, one of my
Thanks for calling
favorite shows on YouTube, period. Thank you, Tim. Matt, all you guys, Voice of College Football. I love the channel. Okay. Here's what I'll say. I didn't like that some of the content creators basically were, putting videos out like, it's going to be a rough one for us. Kids watch these shows. Our kids watch these shows, the players who I'm talking about specifically. I wish that we kept it a little bit more positive. If you looked at the roster, even with the people that left, and you compared Louisville's roster to ours, we had, players that were ranked better. So from a talent perspective, I never thought for a moment that we ought to have lost the game because we had better talent. And the fact that people were talking crap about us, because of the year we had, these kids came in hyped up. They came in absolutely hyped up. They knew they had something to prove. And guess what? They went out there and they did it. And I'll end it here. I got to meet Miller Moss when his last year in high school was that COVID year. He's training with one of my good friends, Emmanuel Moody, who is a great speed coach, played running back for USC when he transferred over from the University of Florida years ago.
I remember
Pete
that.
Carroll.
Yep.
And I remember introducing my son to him. My son was probably 8, 9 years old at the time. We were at Woodbridge High School in Irvine, and I said, son, here's the next great quarterback at USC. This, of course, was before Riley came in and Caleb came in. So I'm proud of Miller, and it's Miller time, baby. Let's spend that $1 million or $2 million on some defensive linemen. You know what I'm saying? We don't need a quarterback right now. Give a little NIL money to one of the uncommitted quarterbacks out there, or let's flip someone, because early signing day, that's early signing day. We know that the real signing day is a few weeks away. Let's flip a quarterback, get him in. We know that we got Julian in the wings. Julian, don't reclassify, brother.
No, we
take your
want you
time.
want him to reclassify. We want him to reclassify to 25.
Okay.
We
I
do.
mean, I'm with you guys. Okay, go ahead, Julian. Reclassify. But guess what? Miller Moss next year, super cerebral. That interception he threw, I'm not even gonna blame him for that. He deserves it. Will Howard, go ahead and go to Iowa or Wisconsin. I don't care where you go. It's Miller
Miami or
time,
Ohio State,
baby.
probably.
Okay, Ohio State. We're gonna beat the crap out of them in the Big championship game next year.
We'll
Okay,
take
so
it.
we'll see him. Thank you guys for all you do. Fight on, baby. Let's go.
Fight
Fight
on.
on.
Hey, it was
Fight
great
on.
call, buddy. That's the energies. That's
Thank
the celebration I wanted to hear. You guys, really quickly, one last time, I'm going to bug you. Down in the far corner down there is our subscribe button. Please make sure you're subscribing to the channel. We're going to have live, like I had down below. We have a call-in show every Friday. We also have Monday night with Mark Rogers, and we also have Matt Zemek and I will get together at 8 o'clock on Pacific on Monday. Make sure you're subscribing because we also will go live. And so if you hit subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Because if we get big news on the quarterback, or let's say if they throw millions of dollars or $1 million at a top defensive tackle, that you'll be ready to talk with us because we'll be celebrating that as well. What's up, Dre?
Fingers crossed.
How you guys doing, guys?
Doing great. How are you, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Great way to end the season. Just like, most of us. I was hoping, for instance, I was thinking for as long as I watch college football, this game was going to go two ways. Either Louisville was going to not be fully there, or USC, because of the down year, they weren't going to be fully there. But both teams actually showed up to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm very surprised that in 6 weeks, that's how much the defense got better at tackling. Like in 6 weeks, when they were talking about Jalen Smith winning the Defensive Player Award, they made sure to announce Joe Klatt said all 12 of his tackles were on solo. And I was like, dude, every one of his tackles, solo, bro. He took that person down every time. And yeah, like I said, I'm still amazed that in 6 weeks, the tackling just got better. And then, watching, like all of us, watching highlights on the players that comes in, no one expected Miller Moss was going to have the game that he had. I expected at least 3 to 4 touchdowns. But they had 4 in the first half? Damn.
Break the Holiday Bowl records?
Yeah, like, damn, bro. Like, I remember, one of my favorite Holiday Bowl games as a kid was because I'm from Oregon and I was raised off of Oregon first. Other than my other fan base was my family was LA fans, so it's either USC or Oregon. And Joey Harrington versus Texas in the 2002 Holiday Bowl game, one of the memorable games I will always remember. Then second, of course, is Ordori Jackson going off against Nebraska. Like, that was crazy.
That kickoff was amazing.
That was. And, man, a lot of the USC fans were like, we should have set out this bowl game. Why? This is times that these players can practice. These are times
they need to practice
better, and you can build the culture. Like, do you not understand college football? Like, what do you mean? You don't sit out these games.
Yep.
And, man, the freshmen, bro. Like, a lot of people were going off on Twitter on Deuce Robinson for dropping that one open pass.
He shut him up quick, though, didn't he?
He looked over, and then the ball came his way, and I was like, that makes sense why he dropped it. But still. But he made up for it on that touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zachariah Branch almost broke one. He was so close.
He was a
Oh,
shoelace
my God.
away.
I called that punt return for 6. I was like, that's 6. Because I just saw the juke move. I was like, that's 6. And he tripped on. I was like, damn.
I said the same thing. I said, they're going to feed Zachariah, and he's going to get across midfield. And he was so close to breaking that. He knew it.
He tripped on his own blocker.
Oh, my
he
God.
tripped on his own blocker, otherwise he was gone.
Yep.
He
And, you know,
was.
he could have had a touchdown as well. I mean, one of the very few Miller Moss misses on that crossing pass. He was open. He could have walked into the end zone, but you know that would have been a tough catch. So I'll give him that one. Another thing about Miller Moss's numbers, he was he went off, but he threw about 2 or 3 away on screenplays that weren't there. So really, his accuracy they had it at 70%, but it was going to be a lot higher than that. He played, like everyone said, a cerebral game. Stayed within the system, got the ball out on time, you know, and showed what he can do. So I'm with you, Dre. So what do you think, Dre? Do we spend money on a quarterback, or do we take all that money and stick it on a defensive line and grab a left tackle?
Okay, well, you know me. I was, like I told you, I was a lineman growing up. So no, we need linemen. We need to put that on linemen. And you know, like if we can get so I asked this question was who is the head coach that we hired from North Dakota State?
And
so I was asking the question, do you guys think that he's going to try and take some of his best players from North Dakota State and then try and recruit around that area who are the best to bring them home to LA? Because I kind of think he's going to try and steal his best players from his school and then, you know, attack that area that he was already recruiting, but for better players.
I mean, FCS is a bit of a different level.
True, but there's always some players.
There are always,
who can,
100%.
Because we could have thought
there might be a couple diamonds in a rough, Dre. But like Tony said, usually your FCS,
for a reason.
For a reason, because maybe you're a great football player, but you're a little bit undersized, right? And that's what usually happens, things like that. So I mean, if you have that guy, you have that Matt Grudegood, right? That tweener that maybe is a little bit, too big to be a safety, too small to be a linebacker, that kind of thing. Maybe you could find some of those guys, but I would say it's probably not multiple. Maybe there's one guy there that you might pull. But the point you made about he's really good about recruiting. He's got some good recruiting roots in the Midwest. So that's a double whammy that's going to be good for Entz coming in. He knows the area. He knows that Big Ten footprint. So that's going to be really useful for USC.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is, I wanted to ask you guys was, I don't have any insides like you guys do or anything like that. But what's up with that whole thing with Michael Williams? I don't see him leaving Georgia. Like, why would he leave Georgia to come play with his homie at Barrow Alexander?
Maybe he gets all that big quarterback money.
And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I don't think he's coming.
I don't think he is either, man. Because I was like, why would you?
I doubt it.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, because he started, and he's been playing. The issue with Bears, he wanted more snaps. That's what it came down with him. With Michael Williams, he's getting. But here's what I'll tell you though: if you look at every year Georgia, they stack those 5-star defensive linemen, and it's shown now in the age of the portal and the free transfer that if you stack that defensive line room a little too deep, some of them are gonna talk about playing time. So then you're looking at maybe after the spring. I mean, who knows? That's where the next big window is going to be, is after the spring. If you could get someone, let's say Michael Williams is not happy with the number of reps. I'm just assuming. Well, I'm making a hypothetical. Then maybe he starts thinking about it. I would say though, the amount of time he played, that guy's top notch. I don't know what it would take. I know that he and Bear are close, they goof around, but I don't know if he's a legitimate. Coming. It would be great if he did. I mean, it literally could be that he's coming. If I'm looking right now, that in the chat, I got Gabe telling me that he's very serious about coming. So if that was the case, I'll take Gabe's word over mine any day of the week. If that is the case, then maybe that money we're going to give to a quarterback is now going that way, and I'm more than happy to do that.
Same, I agree. Like,
we'll take it.
I have to say to you guys, but no, I was just going to say what you were, saying was I agree. Like, it just kind of seems far fetched, like way too far fetched, but
nothing else is far fetched. This is a different world. You could be like not getting reps, like Tim said, but guess what? You have a market. Guess what?
Yep.
The NFL has 32 teams. College football has 135. There's agents out there, NIL. You can create a market with 5 or 6 teams, jack up your NIL, and get to a team like USC that's playing in the Big Ten with 3 television partners. You're going to get the exposure. Come on.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep,
That's what
you're
it
right.
is. Yeah,
you're right.
you got. If you think about it as college football, what it used to be, you're not even thinking. You got to think of it as a business. It's business. It's not college football. It's not what it used to be. It's about what can you do for me now? Where is my marketability? That's what it's about.
I agree, LBC. I agree 100%. It's weird that this is the times that we're in for college football, but at the same time, it's exciting in my opinion because anything. And then with the 12-team playoffs next year, I predict. I said it in my the message to you guys. I said I think Danton Lynn can get us anywhere from a 30 to a 60s of defense. And if he can get us anywhere from there or to there, we just need to fix the offensive line.
Yep.
Because we clearly showed tonight our quarterback can play behind this trash offensive line all season.
Well, hold on now. Dre? What did you? The offensive line did not play like trash tonight. Matter of fact, it was a big shakeup.
No, I'm saying all season they did, but tonight they played good.
Right. Yeah, I think there's some promise on, and you're going to see, like we saw with the receivers, you're going to see a lot of those offensive linemen come in. I mean, we saw Page, we saw a little bit of Noah, but we still haven't seen guys like Talalele, Banuelos, and Raymond.
Yeah. Yep. And I like the whole, the shift, and they put the right players in the right places, and we still got to figure out how to open holes for the run game.
Yes.
Because we ain't going to win games in the Big Ten against these elite defensive teams if we can't make them honest for our run game.
Right.
It's just like basketball. You got to make them, be feared of all 5 players on the court. If they're not, then they're just going to leave that one guy off. And that's what my Duke team was struggling before we beat Baylor last Wednesday in New York. But yeah, they figured that out. We figured it out. Now it's about who we get now in, the right places for next season. And Lincoln believes that the recruiting class that we had the last 2 years, they should play better. It's just about, do we make it easier for the offense and also make it easier for the defense at times? Because that throw to Trubisky, the tight end, why weren't we using that middle route to the tight end all season? Dude, we have elite receivers, cool, but you can't leave the middle open. Or you can't, you need to rely on everybody on your offense. You see that check down receiver? Hit the check down. You see that tight end in that corner? Hit the tight end. Then that opens that big play when you're throwing to all these little routes.
Yeah.
And, so I agree with that caller where Avery, where he said he's seen Lincoln grow. I agree. Like I said, I'm still shocked at the 6 weeks into better tackling. I'm still shocked at that.
Much better.
If we practiced on that all season, man, we would have been better all week. Every week would have been better. And that's what's sad. But, hey, I love it, man. I'm a USC fan to the death of me. And I thank you guys for making a great channel, man. Fight on.
Well, hey, thanks for calling. We're glad to have you. Fight on.
Fight on always, Dre.
Hey, I'm excited to talk with you guys, off season and next season. It's going to be exciting.
We'll definitely check out. Tim's got the call-in shows and the show with Matt. So they'll be a lot of fun.
Hey, if you guys are ever in LA, hopefully I can meet you guys. I got to get a pic and be like, hey, what's good?
Gotta get those games. We're at all the games. So make sure you come check us out.
Hell yeah. And so I'm trying to go to I want to go to the Penn State game because they're playing in LA this year, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
That game, I'm trying to go to that. And then, of course, because I'm out here in Vegas, I'm trying to go to the LSU one.
That'll be fun.
Hey, but guys, I hope you guys have a great night, man. And hey, we got the W, man. We got the W. Fight on, brothers.
Fight on.
Fight on.
Fight on, Dre.
Guys, well, that was quite the game. Fun times. Why don't we give we got everybody, I think. We gave everybody a couple more chances to call. And why don't we wrap up with some final thoughts? LBC, you want to start us off?
Yeah, that was amazing. I didn't think that USC had a chance to even cover the spread. I thought we were going to lose by 12 to 14 points. I just thought it was too much to ask based on what we saw with the defense going against Louisville, even though they had a couple opt-outs. But their defense was very, very stout in the red zone. I just didn't see our talent, our young talent stepping up. I mean, Jacoby Lane, Mekhi Lemon, who would have thought, right? Even Carson Tabaracci. I think the previous caller, Dre, called him Trubisky. But, it's Tabaracci, and Tabaracci, credit Lincoln Riley for dialing a play in there. I just didn't think that USC had enough, especially with the offensive line, to compete with Louisville. I was being realistic. I'm not being a homer. I was just calling it like I did. I had people texting me during the game. Couldn't believe that I didn't root for USC, but I'm not a homer. I am not a homer. And I did what I call the reverse jinx. So be it. I was enjoying my IPA down at the game, and I was yelling, "It's Miller time. Keep my glass full." And that's what it was. It was a beautiful coming out party for Miller Moss. That was great. And I'm just going to close it by saying this. If you want to catch me tomorrow to hear a little bit more of the USC recap on the Holiday Bowl, I am going to be out at Matter of Craft in Huntington Beach with our friend of the show, John Jackson. We're going to be doing a live show from 5 to 6. Come on out. We're going to be talking USC football, what happened today in the Holiday Bowl, and previewing the Alamo Bowl, Arizona versus Oklahoma. And we'll watch the game with you there at Matter of Craft in Huntington Beach. So check me out on the channel, LBC Trojan. And, hey, we move into 2024 into spring camp with a lot of excitement. I can't wait to see the development with the offensive line, because Henson has got 10 guys in the last 2 years. And these guys have to be motivated to be blocking for these unbelievable offensive pieces and Miller Moss. So congrats to the Trojans. Congrats to everybody that's out there. Thank you for tuning into the channel, and fight on.
Fight on, LBC. Tim?
Yeah, the big thing here is, enjoy Trojans. We are, again, next to Alabama, which is rare air. But next to Alabama, we are the bowl school. And the fact that we had this dry spell finally snapped that. Looking at just a snapshot of the offensive line, I've been banging it forever and ever. In this class, we're also adding some more nasty guys in there with Zandamela. We're looking at the base, and we're going to build the base with our high school recruiting. They've been doing that on the offensive line. Like I said, now this looks like we really have opened a piece here that people didn't really see. We knew Miller Moss was good. We didn't really know if Miller Moss could actually do what he just did. Like I said, it was 70%. And he was dumping. He must have dumped 3 balls away on screen plays that just weren't there. He didn't force anything. The ball should be a little more outside. He made a bad throw on the goal line. Otherwise, USC scored 7 straight touchdowns in that game. So the naysayers in the offense, I knew this offensive line would have to play well in order to give USC a game, and they did. They showed up. They showed out. They tackled well. It's amazing to me the fact that you could have the 6-week layoff, 7 weeks, 6 weeks. I can't remember how many weeks are off. And come out and look that crisp in tackling. Those pads were popping at practice. And I wonder, again, if that's the new culture that you're seeing with Danton Lynn and with Entz and Belt coming in. You might see a lot more hitting going on at practice. So join us on Friday. We're going to be doing as we always do, our call-in show Fridays. Check us out, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. If you want to come check out the show, that's when we'll have the phone lines open for you guys. It's your show. You guys take it over. We're going to have a lot to talk about, a lot of celebrating going on. So Trojans, great game. Sleep tight and fight on. And I'll see you just before the end of the new year.
All right. Well, hey, first of all, what a night to celebrate. Congratulations to Miller Moss. Congratulations to all the Trojans tonight who looked absolutely fantastic. But I want to thank you guys. And first of all, thank you to Mark for putting together the Voice of College Football community. Thanks to Rick and Tim. You guys are amazing. It's been an honor and a blast to be with you guys. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you guys at home who, after the USC games this season, spent time with us and joined us as part of our Trojan family and our Voice of College Football community. Not just our USC folks, but we've got folks from Michigan, from Ohio State, from Notre Dame, everybody that calls in, everybody that chats. This is about you guys, and we are blessed and lucky to have you with us. So thank you for being with us all season. We end this one with a wonderful win, and I just want to give you guys one final thank you and one final fight on. We'll see you in 2024, but before that, we'll see you right here throughout on the Voice of College Football community. Have a wonderful and happy New Year, everybody.